Hello, here's another episode of the Asbestos. I am not doing this live from my house. I'm instead doing this from my local Wegmans because my internet is fixed. So there you go. This is a podcast a long time coming. We're going to be talking about the sale numbers of the Switch. So without much ado, this is going to be a solo cast. Let's get into it. Um, the Nintendo Switch in the first few days sold 1.5 million. This article was published on the 14th of March, so that was a week and a half ago, almost. So there you go. But here's something you might not know. Sales of the because people were having difficulty getting the Switch and the
Hello.
Switch. How's it going?
I'm fine.
All right. We're live right now, so why don't you introduce yourself and then we'll keep on with the discussion, okay?
My name is the Contrarian Bastard, and I'm new to this whole YouTube community. That's all I can say.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Right now we're talking about sales of the Switch. We're talking about how basically, because of hardware issues, people couldn't get not hardware issues as in problems, but supply with the Switch. That some people are going back and getting pre-owned Wii U's and new Wii U's in order to play Breath of the Wild on the Wii U.
Oh yeah, I heard about that on Meverse that supposedly Wii U sales went up because people wanted to play Breath of the Wild, but the Switch supply ran out. And well, they are so impatient that they need to buy a Wii U because they can't wait for a restock.
That could be the case, but I mean, here's the thing. I don't mind people going and buying because this game was made to be played on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Switch version is just a not a fast and dirty port, but it's a port. So
The only reason I like the Switch version is because it's kind of portable, and I do like portable stuff. So
yeah, well, to each his own. But I just thought that was a nice thing because if anyone remembers, essentially speaking, Miyamoto himself and Eiji Aonuma and Miyamoto said that in order for the Switch to be profitable, it had to sell, not the Switch, Breath of the Wild, it had to sell 2 million units.
yeah.
I would contend that it's already sold at least 3 million at this point.
Well,
Because,
if I think most people that bought the Switch mostly bought Breath of the Wild,
well, I
and
mean, I'm simply saying that at least a million. I mean, at least a million, and I'm being very conservative with that estimate. At least a million of the 1.5 that was measured up a week ago. It's probably higher than that now, but at least a million of the 1.5 bought Breath of the Wild, and then you factor in the people already own the Wii U version, who already own a Wii U. Probably, I mean, at least 2-3 million people bought it on the Wii U because they haven't calculated the Wii U sales yet.
yeah,
Of the game.
because the Wii U, I think the Wii U has a good attach rate, so I think the Wii U version is going to sell a lot.
Yeah,
The-
I mean, and plus it has a bigger install base at this point. I mean, you're talking 13.5 million versus 1.5, maybe 2 at this
I,
point. Yeah.
Actually, I think this is a case like when Twilight Princess was on the Wii, and the Twilight Princess was kind of the Wii killer app when it was first released, and but it also had a GameCube version. But if you look closely, the GameCube version was like the game that was originally was meant to be, and the Wii version was a port.
Well, it was a port, but the better version of Twilight Princess was on the Wii. And the port wasn't that much of a difference because the Wii shared basically the same architecture as the GameCube, which is why you could play GameCube games on your Wii because they were basically the same system.
Yeah,
um,
I did know that the GameCube and the Wii had the similar architecture.
I don't mean similar. It's basically a Wii is a Super GameCube, and that's it. It's a GameCube with some added features and a different control scheme. But other than that, it's a GameCube, which I'm okay with that because the GameCube's like my one of my favorite 6th gen systems. So getting another GameCube in a different form is all right with me. But
And to be honest, I always thought that graphic style, like, it doesn't get that old. Like, I'm okay with HD and SGN graphics, but I always thought that with the 6th gen graphics, they could have stayed, like, video games could have stayed like that, and I wouldn't mind.
yeah, I have to agree as well. But back to these sales. So basically, yeah, the Wii U and I mean, between the Wii U and the Switch, Breath of the Wild has already. I contend that probably in the first 2 or 3 days, it probably made its budget back. And if you factor in the expansion pack, the expansion season pass thing, they made money. They've already
I wanted to ask you this:
broken even.
does 1 to 6 Switch sold well, or it bombed?
Uh, I think it sold relatively well considering its budget. I mean, because you have to remember it was a $20 game. It was probably it's a very simple game. It doesn't have expensive graphics. It
Yeah,
doesn't
because
have
I'm mostly curious because of all the Switch games. I was almost sure that 1 to Switch was going to bomb. Like, even for me, like, I didn't find that game that appealing for me.
well, I mean, it's more fun with somebody else. It's a great couples game. But I mean, like I said, it's a low budget game. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that game had a budget of maybe $150,000.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like Bomberman or like the type
no,
like.
Bomberman R had a higher budget. Bomberman R had a much higher budget than um, than 1 2 Switch, or not 1 2 Switch. Yeah, 1 2 Switch. I think had a budget of maybe. I'm sorry, I confused them. I thought you were talking about Swipper clips. No, 1 2 Switch probably had a budget of maybe I want to say maybe 1 or 2 million. Like I don't even think the budget was really that high because I mean, let's keep it real. 1 2 Switch is a tech demo for the
Yeah,
Switch.
I know. That's what I wanted to ask you. How many do you think 1 to Switch sold? Because of all the Switch games that I thought were going to bomb, that was the first on my list.
No, I mean, I think its budget was kept under control because I mean, it was kind of like I think the budget was included with just making the system because they needed tech demos for what the system can do. So even if it didn't sell that well, they still made a profit.
Yeah, it's like Nintendo Land and Wii Sports.
Yeah, but I mean, I really do think that I think they made their money back. Yeah.
Yeah, because I already know Bomberman are so well. I heard an article. It was surprising that it's. I think it's like in the 2 million. I think it was. I don't remember well.
Well, here I'll go look it up. The thing is that it's not so much that Bomberman sold well. It's just that I think they kept this. I think they kept the budget under control. So like it didn't need to sell like that game is not going to sell 6 million. It's not going to sell 10, 20, 30 million. But I mean, if they keep it, if they keep the budget under control, it'll sell well enough.
Oh, I wanted to ask you something that I heard an article today. Do you think Yooka is going to bomb because of the decision, like the way they backstabbed John Trump by removing him from the game?
Well, first of all, John Tron said some incredibly stupid things, and these people are running a business. At the end of the day,
No, because
like okay,
some
no,
people are.
no, I understand what you're
I
saying.
want.
I understand what you're saying, but let me answer your question. At the end of the day, they're running a business. And as someone who also runs a business, if someone comes into my business and says something really, really racist,
Testing.
and I don't say something about it and get that person out of there, it makes my other customers uncomfortable and they might leave. So they did the right thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, because
And
just some people are mad at Platonic and want to boycott them for
look,
removing Jontron, saying
let me tell
they
you something.
backstab him.
That game is going to do well regardless because it's the people who made the games that people love. Um,
Though sometimes that makes me wonder if they know what they're doing business wise.
well, no, that was the right call. Like, okay, and I explained it contrarian. If you own a business and someone comes in and they say racist things, your other customers, if you tolerate it, your other customers are going to be like, well, heck, if they tolerate it, they either that must mean that they agree with it. And if you don't check it and either get that person out of there or confront them about it, you risk running off your other customers. And here's the thing: one customer, one losing one customer is not the best thing, but losing a lot of your customers, 30, 40, 50% of them, because you didn't lose that one customer is worse. And that's basically what's been going on.
Actually,
And like I said, John Tron brought it on himself. He really did.
actually, to be honest, I really never cared about Jontron's content, nor do I like him as a person. So, for me, I kind of like man about all this.
Well, I thought he was kind of funny, but I mean, when he opened his mouth and the stupidity poured out, it was like, oosh, you know.
Reason why I never watched his stuff.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Angry Joe. Like I like Angry Joe. I think he's funny, but some of his comments are like, dude, you really don't know anything about business.
Actually, he doesn't know that many things about gaming, to be honest. If you see his reviews, he gets a lot of stuff wrong about games.
Hmm, yeah, could be.
He's the person that said the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was balanced.
Well, I mean, you have to remember, that Angry Joe gets paid, does paid endorsements as well. So he could have been. I hear. I'm going to say this, since this is the business cast and we're talking about business. I'm going to say something that's going to be a little controversial. People might get mad at me, but I don't get upset about people doing paid endorsements. You just have to disclose that you're doing a paid endorsement. But I don't care because I mean, if you listen to radio, if you watch TV, if you read the newspaper, there's advertisements in there. People are like, this program was brought to you by Coca-Cola, or this message is brought to you by Locksmith Jones or something. And I have nothing against that. You just have to tell people so that they know, okay, if I'm seeing all these Coca-Cola products in this picture, it's because it was sponsored by Coca-Cola.
The- there are two types of like YouTube pay whores, or the ones that obviously they're doing it, and the ones that are secretly doing it, but they are being paid. Like hip hop gamer, like the hip hop gamer. I think Capcom grants that guy a paycheck to defend his shitty games.
Well, I mean that could be a part of it. It could
He
also be
defended
because,
Street Fighter 5 and Resident Evil 7. What the fuck?
well, I mean, don't forget he also defended the Order 1886 because
Hold up. Who defends something that blatantly obvious?
yeah, it was obvious that it was a paid endorsement. I think he's one of the people who gets like a permanent paycheck from Sony because he's a Sony ambassador. He gets paid. He gets like a check from
Well,
Sony
I
to,
think I think it's mostly from Capcom. Like
well,
he defended
no,
two
well,
Capcom games that are really really
no.
W's in
Well, I'm not
quality.
saying that he probably isn't also getting a paid endorsement from Capcom, but I know he's a Sony ambassador, and a lot of the games that he's popping for are also Sony exclusives, like Street Fighter Five, Sony exclusive. Um,
Resident
uh,
Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7, Sony exclusive. So, and here's the thing: as long as he was open about it, yes, I am being paid by Sony to endorse this product. But it's between the lines. I mean, he's a Sony ambassador. That means he's getting paid by Sony. to do that stuff.
Well,
So I mean,
he's doing a shitty job, not making it obvious.
well, I mean, there's still people who don't see it, but I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like I saw his Street Fighter 4 defense video. He almost gave me a keister.
You mean Street Fighter Five?
The Street Fighter 5 was like, oh my god, like
And facepalm.
Yeah.
yeah. Did you know the Picard double face palm meme? I was like that, but doing it multiple times every time he spoke a word.
Well, I mean, you have to remember that. I mean, that guy really doesn't know what he's talking about. Like here's the thing: hip hop gamer. I'm glad he made it. Okay, he found a hustle that works for him. I'm not gonna knock his hustle. My problem is that it's so blatantly obvious, and they're fans that use him as like a rallying point for their stuff. And it's like you do realize that like he's just using you in order to like your people, you're his audience that he's promoting things to. He's shilling things for you. And here's the thing, like I said, I have nothing against people having paid advertisement. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when people aren't open about it. Like, because here's the thing, as someone who owns a business, I've had to have advertisement. I've had to say this is sponsored by so and so and so and so. I've had to cater events. Not cater, but I've had to host events where like someone was like, this is being paid for by so and so and so and so or this company, and like I got to put their branding up. I got to put their banners up. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm still getting paid either way, but
I was going to say
like
there's a difference between being paid to talk about them in a sense and being a shill about what the product is really about.
well, I mean that's the thing. As long as he honestly said I'm being paid to endorse this, like I'd still be like, okay, fair enough. That means I have to take your opinion with a grain of salt. But the thing is that Hip Hop Gamer tries to paint himself as being this real gamer that, like, I'm going to tell you like it is, dog, because I'm from the streets, son. And it's like, I'm being facetious. I'm sorry. But, and it's like, dude, I don't know if you know this, but, like, I mean, if you're basically being paid to say something, then that means you're a puppet. You're Sony's puppet, and they have a stick so far. If you're, never mind. Let's move on to another business topic, and this is an article that came out March 9th, earlier this month, the day before. Well, not the day, but before the Switch came out. A few days after the Switch came out. And it basically says that, according to Reggie Fils-Aimé, the Switch exceeded the first 2-day sales in America for any system in Nintendo history. And the Switch is on track to ship. It's on track to ship 2 million by the end of March, which doesn't mean anything. Ship doesn't mean anything. You want sales.
I was about to say, isn't this what Sony bragged about in a sense that they
Yeah.
that they shipped out this many, and that means that they're winning?
Yeah,
Sorry,
here's the thing. I think
sarcastic or that because
no, but I mean, you got to look. If it's good for the goose, is good for the gander. You have to keep things on an even keel for everybody. You can't just be partial to one group and not hold it in the fire to another group. So,
I know.
But I do think that by the end of March it will have sold over 2 million units worldwide. Because in 2 weeks it sold 1.5, and I think just in America alone it's probably going to sell more than that.
Actually, I'll be honest. I think the Switch is going to be like another Wii situation. For some reason,
No, I got to
no, I'm not saying it's going to outsell the Wii.
Oh, you think it's going to be the it console for casuals and hardcore people to get? It's going to be that I got to have it console.
It's not going to get that far.
It's
Hopefully.
not gonna, but I think it's going to be a solid seller. Like, I think it's
You think it's going to be the Super Nintendo? Because the Super Nintendo was basically like a solid system. It wasn't the NES. It wasn't the Wii. It didn't do as badly as the N64 or the GameCube, but it wasn't like the SNES. I mean, it wasn't the NES or the Wii. Like I think the Switch
Yeah,
is going to fall between the GameCube and the Wii. I think it'll sell between. I think it'll sell over its lifetime 60 to 70 million units, which is pretty respectable.
yeah, that's what I was saying because it's kind of it's going the same route as the Wii did when it was first released. Like
Yeah,
the Wii, you couldn't find a Wii. Like it sold out almost in the first 3 days,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
it was
I wouldn't know.
restocking shoes.
I paid a dude to stand in line and get mine. So
And it started off with a Zelda and a lot of niche games. It's like it has the same track record as the Wii at this point.
yeah, I mean, personally, like I said, I really do think that this system. I don't think it's going to sell.
Actually,
Um,
the Wii is my favorite console, so I do hope that the Switch follow his footsteps, at least for me.
well, I mean, it has a lot of the same features as the Wii. It has the Wiimotes 3.0 through the Joy Cons. It has um, it has the unique. It has that quirkiness that grabs people, and it's got a clear concept. The only thing I'm not crazy about is that commercial.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that commercial.
Actually, let's be honest. Bad commercials sometimes are more memorable than good ones. I mean, there's
No,
Splatoon,
it's
there's
not
Splat,
that. People
there's
like the commercial. I just
there's
don't like the.
there's Splatoon 1 got notoriety by that horrible commercial he had. I'm a kid now. I'm a squid.
Well, I mean, that was delightfully corny. Like here's the thing. I just don't like Imagine Dragons. It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with.
But
Um,
and
anything
actually,
else.
I'm kind of dying for an indie game that's coming up. This that is called Snake Pass. And if you know my previous avatar, I'm a huge fan of snakes. So
Mhm.
I'm really awaiting that indie game. So the Switch does
Well,
have the Switch does have games if you're into indie stuff.
well,
But
basically, we're getting a Banjo Kazooie game because ukulele is basically it's a banjo. It's a rare style open world 3D platformer, which you don't get those anymore. So we're getting one of those.
actually, as
We're
much
getting
as
another SteamWorld Dig.
actually
SteamWorld Dig 2.
Actually, talking about Banjo Kazooie, that's funny because as much as I hate nostalgia horse, I am nostalgic for us for some things, and Banjo Kazooie is like one of my most nostalgia games ever because I played like my first game was Yoshi's Story, and my second game was Banjo Kazooie.
Well, I mean, the thing about rare style platformers is that they just don't make them anymore. It's like
That's
you can be
the sad thing.
nostalgic about something when you haven't had it in a while. It's like I haven't had ice cream cake in like
Well, to be honest,
15 years.
the 64 spam the collectathons way too much to a point where the GameCube, I didn't want to see a collectathon anymore. But you're right.
Yeah, but
After
here's the
that
thing though.
gen,
Like
they,
normally, but that's the thing. Every time a new genre comes out, it gets spammed in that generation. Like in the third gen, it was platformers. In the fourth gen, it was RPGs. And even in the fifth gen, it was RPGs, and like it was 3D RPGs. And the fourth gen, it was 2D RPGs. And
the
the
fifth
sixth,
the fifth gen is the 64 and PlayStation One.
yeah, and those were. I mean, what
They
got
span
spammed was
they they
3D art.
span different things. The N64
Well,
spam
it was
collectathon platformers.
Well, I mean, it was multiple things got spammed, but it was a lot of them. Like you had 3D platformers, you had 2D, you had 3D RPGs on the PS1 because once Final Fantasy VII came out, everyone wanted to make a game like Final Fantasy VII. Um, so I mean,
And the PlayStation 2, I'm trying to remember what is spammed.
um,
uh,
The PS2, GameCube era.
The GameCube spammed a lot of
Graphic.
like, well, not really graphics. The GameCube spammed a lot of quirky games that would not have otherwise, like Cubivore and Baiting Katos and Odama. Like the
I
GameCube
was
had
about to
some really
say,
quirky games that you
telling me
otherwise
he's
wouldn't have
not
seen.
talking about quarter.
No, but I'm talking the generation itself. I think it was RPGs. The
The
PS2
six gen, yeah, the six gen had a lot of RPGs.
and the 7th gen. We all know why it's so
Oh god,
infamous.
yes, first person
Shooters.
shooters. Yeah, it's first person shooters and stuff.
I
Even
was
to,
about to
even
say,
even though the
living.
Wii was really, they had everything, every genre in it. So, but the Xbox and PS3, oh my gosh, shooters were just
Yeah, and
Every,
open world games. Yeah, open world games. The eighth gen is open
no, open
world.
world is
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Even Zelda got contaminated by the open world fever. Even though I love it,
Well,
but
but I mean, I'm gonna quote Miyamoto. Breath of the Wild isn't an open world game; it's an open air game.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to say it is an open world game in a sense. I say in a sense, by the way, but I don't blame him for at least trying to say it's something different.
Yeah, yeah.
because I've been playing like 5 different open world games at this point: Xenoblade X, Final Fantasy 15,
Oh
Zelda,
God.
Zelda
Oh,
Breath of the
you poor
Wild.
man.
I was gonna say this. I'm glad I'm not a 3D Zelda fan. Otherwise, I'd probably be really lost in that game.
What, Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Um, that's one of the flaws of the game. And I know we're kind of going off, but I mean, in my opinion, that is kind of one of the flaws of the game. Is that it really does not. It has almost like once you leave the Great Plateau, there is no guide. You're just like you're on your own, buddy. You know, and gives you the middle finger and drives off. That's basically what it does.
They actually leave you with one little spot to look, but that's about it.
And I'm not happy about that. I don't like that.
I only said one little spot, but that's because it's marked on the map, and well, you can ignore that little spot.
Yeah, I mean they basically I mean they give you a little bit of guidance,
To
but it's
to
still like
to be honest, my favorite open world game still is Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one.
yeah, but that wasn't even really an open world game.
I
That was
I love
They fooled
Xenoblade
you.
Chronicles 1,
Yeah, it's a
but
good game. I love it, but they kind of fool you. They're like, yeah, this is an open world game. Not really. It's kind of.
I want to play Horizon Zero Dawn. Just that the game doesn't appeal to me. Like, I don't know how it looks, but I think I want to give Horizon Zero Dawn a try.
Yeah, I played
I,
about 3 hours of it, and it's like once you play Breath of the Wild, it's really hard to go back to some open world games because you just it's like really this is what you're doing. Okay,
I think Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade, and Final Fantasy 15 are like the best open world games I played.
uh, okay, fair enough.
Because at least I think Final Fantasy 15 is like my second favorite Final Fantasy now after 9. There's so
Okay.
much you can do on that game, and the landmarks are just gorgeous.
Oh God, you're killing my soul with every word you say.
uh,
I don't want to
I
have
don't
another. I don't want to have another Bowser Jr. argument. So
look, man.
let's continue on.
RPGs RPGs are about story, and if the story is not good, then everything else fails. If an RPG maker tells me, "Oh, look at those graphics," I'm like, "You've already gotten an F on this report.
I was gonna,
You get
But
an
but
F."
I was
the
gonna say,
thing is, the open world games have terrible story most of the time.
Not Xenoblade Chronicles X or
No, Xenoblade Chronicle S had a garbage story. The first one is that had a
no, it
good
didn't.
story.
Neither of those games had a garbage story. The original Xenoblade Chronicles had a pretty good story, but they kind of locked things behind, your level caps and stuff like that, and there were bottlenecks where you like had to grind in order to get past certain battles. But Xenoblade Chronicles X had a good story, but the difference is that, and this is, I guess you could call it a flaw that it shares with Breath of the Wild, which isn't surprising because both Monolith Soft Monolith Soft made Xenoblade Chronicles X, and they helped with Breath of the Wild. Is that in order to figure out the story, you have to do the side missions, and that is the SOB for Xenoblade Chronicles X. But once you did the side missions, the story actually got very good.
I was gonna say if that I could name another example for that kind of line. Final Fantasy F and 15.
Yeah, he mentioned that like Final Fantasy 15. If I have to watch an anime in order to figure out the backstory for your RPG, like here's the thing: RPGs at their base are telling you a story. If your story is not memorable, if I can't remember specific things about it, but I remember the graphics, you are not a good RPG. You might be gorgeous, you might have a great battle system, but if the story's garbage, I can't no, I can't do it.
Well, it may be because I am accustomed that practically open world games do not have a good story, so I didn't care that much about the vast story in 15.
Well, did you ever play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or Grand Theft Auto Vice City? Because those are
Well,
open world games and they have great stories.
well, to be honest, I never liked the Grand Theft Auto series.
See, there you go. Yeah, there are open world games that have good stories. I mean, basically GTA had great story. I mean, GTA 3 story kind of sucks, but Bully is a Rockstar open world game, great story. Um, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Vice City, great stories. Red Dead Redemption, 1. I mean, I can name you tons of open world games that have Lego City. It's an open world game, has a good story.
Now, I'm back.
But
Hello?
I mean, there's tons of them. Yeah, we can hear you. But let's get back to these sales. Yeah, I just looked at the sales for Bomberman R, and they say that in Japan that it has the best sales since 1998. So basically, almost 20 years. No, 10 years. No, 20 years. Sorry. Yeah,
But
almost 20 years.
how much did it sold?
They say it sold 76,801 in the first week. Just in Japan. So it's probably worldwide. It's probably sold like 300,000 maybe.
300,000, but that's still not a million.
Well, I mean, you have to remember, this game was made on a budget. So I mean, if it probably sold 100,000, it probably was profitable. Because think about it, 100,000 times $40 because it's a $40 game. Wait, let me check. Let me look because I don't know if it's $40. Let me check. This is a $40 game. Now, Bomberman R sales. Bomberman R price. Someone look that up for me because I'm on my slow laptop.
I was about to say, what was the numbers again?
300,000.
Yeah, I'm guessing it sold 300,000. Just like
Okay.
looking at
300,000 times.
Bomberman R.
I mean,
I'm just
they had to give a total of 12 million.
for a $40 price.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Pretty good. What are you guys talking about?
We were just,
We were just talking about Bomberman R's sales price and how much it sold. Because I basically said I guessed that it probably sold 300,000 by this point on a $50 price, and I'm guessing it probably had a budget of maybe like on the higher end, maybe a million.
For for what I heard, supposedly the best selling Bomberman in the franchise, with Act Zero being the worst sold.
Yeah, but like Bomberman fans hated that game. But basically,
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it now. Let me see. It just had a lot of crap. I don't care about the sales.
Well, I'm just saying this is the sales cast, so we have to talk about it. But as I was saying, like I'm guessing that it sold 300,000 by this point, and if you factor in 50 million for the $50 a pop. I know the prices fluctuate, but let's just say $50 a pop because it's $49.99. So 300,000.
Can you, man, the news sites cannot even give news right anymore. They are not telling the numbers, just saying the best-selling one.
Well, they haven't even told anyone. They haven't told anyone the price yet. It's 15 million. So if that game probably had $1 million budget,
What
and
the
no one
fuck?
told
50 million?
15 million.
Well, that's a lot.
If that game had a budget of $1 million and it had very little advertisement, like Nintendo had to do most of the advertisement for that game. Konami did a little bit too, and it had a budget of maybe $1 million, maybe 1.5, and they spent that much. It sold 300,000, and they've made 15 million at this point. That's pretty. But that's the magic of keeping your budgets under control, which EA and Activision and Ubisoft don't understand. Like, not every game has to be AAA.
Sadly.
Yeah, not everything has to be like have a 20, 30, $40 million budget and then you spend 80 million on advertisement.
Supposedly Act Zero sold supposedly 50,000.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that.
Actually, I never heard of
insane.
I never heard of that game actually.
Yeah, I saw it. My friend was like, "Man, there's a new Bomberman coming out. It's on the Xbox." I was like, "Oh, they messed up."
But let me check it here. I need to see this. It's like
It was pretty embarrassing. That's all I got to say. So basically, how's it going, Kanoshi?
Oh, it's going pretty good. You guys talking about Bomberman selling?
We were talking about the Bomberman sales. We basically figured that it probably has sold 300,000 at this point, just on the Switch. And if that game had a 1 to 1.5 million dollar budget and it sold 300,000, we did the math. We saw that it probably has made a $15 million profit.
So how is that?
I mean, $15 million of revenue. It's $50.
Redfox, I look up. I see. Why the hell does Bomberman look like Iron Man?
Okay.
What the hell?
For whoever designed that version of Bomberman.
Yeah, Bomberman Zero was just an embarrassment.
What the hell? This look like a Iron Man knockoff. The Bomberman has Zero.
No, you want to know what Bomberman Zero looks like? Bomberman Zero looks like a Japanese person's idea of a dude bro hero put into a Bomberman game, and that's what it was. Okay, that's what it was.
You don't remind me of that Bomberman because that thing is an abomination.
Yeah, it was an abomination. So let's move on to the next topic, which is estimates on what on how well the Switch is going to do by the end of the year. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I think it'll probably do about 2 or 3 million by the end of
the Switch. By the end of the year, it's going to do 2 or 3 million.
Yeah, because I just know how people lost a lot of people lost faith when the Wii U came out. So a lot of skip.
I say that's because of bullshit.
Well, here's the thing. It's probably going to sell 2 million by the end of this month. and you got like Splatoon 2 coming out later on this year. And Mario Odyssey at the end of the year. I mean, you want to stick with 2 and 3? Are you sure you want to stick with that estimation?
Maybe 5 million at the most.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you're going ultra conservative. Who wants to go next?
Because I just know people. Because I just know that a lot of people still have that image of Nintendo in their head. So.
Okay, well, who wants to go next?
I say 9.5.
9.5. So you're going above their estimate because they just said 8 million.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We're guessing what the sales will be by the Switch by the end of the year.
And this is I'm guessing that before Mario Odyssey drops.
Okay, that's a fair estimate. Who wants to go next? I'll let you go, Contrarian.
I think it's going to sell like 9 million at least.
9 million. Okay, before the end of the year. All right, all right. I guess I'll go last. I'm gonna go with 10. I'm gonna go above all of you. I'm gonna double what Kanoshi said. I'm gonna and I'm going above Jewel and Contrarian. And I'll tell you why I said 10. Because if the PS4 can sell 20 million in the first year with no games, then then the Switch with Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, uh, maybe Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Mario Odyssey definitely gonna sell more.
I agree with you on that. I was just saying that I'm saying it's going to at least hit 9.5 before Mario Odyssey arrives.
Actually,
Okay.
I'm kind of Odyssey. I don't know if it's going to sell or not because, bro, what I see in the reactions from that game are mixed. There's some people that really despise how the game looks, other like it. So I don't know if it's going to sell that well.
It's a 3D Mario game. They always sell well. Like there hasn't been a 3D Mario game that hasn't sold well.
And,
Yes.
and the people are really mad at 3D World. Like 3D World is hated with a passion.
I don't know who's hating 3D World because it sold well. I mean, I don't.
Ask
I think that
who's
Yeah,
your lead.
who? I know there
Go.
were people that were upset with 3D World when it first shown, but when Nintendo showed it the second
At
time
least
around,
now,
everybody
at
was.
least now, ask what's your least favorite 3D Mario game, and you will get the almost the same answer. 3D World.
Sunshine.
No, the both
Sunshine.
3D World.
No.
3D World because it's practically a generic 3D Mario platformer crossing
The most,
in 3D, and
the most
people will
hated
just crash.
the most hated 3D Mario, the one that is the most divisive, is Sunshine because most people will
Actually,
say it's because of
Sunshine is kind of worshipped by the GameCube. Like the GameCube,
no, not really. No,
It's the black sheep. It's the black sheep in the Mario game.
Sunshine is divisive because there are people who really love it and then there are people who really hate it. It's not universally acclaimed.
one reason is
Yeah,
probably
I really like
the
it.
characters that were in it.
Yeah, and because the reason the people who don't like it because it's not the sequel to Mario 64. The people who love it because they like the graphics, they like the water, they like the feel of it. But I mean, it's the most divisive Mario game. I don't know what sites are you trolling where they're like, man, forget Mario 3D World. I've never heard that one.
have you heard? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I've never heard people say you don't like Mario 3D World. I know when they first showed it, they were like, that game looks
Well,
like a Wii game.
you haven't visited that many forums, haven't you?
Well, man, look, man, the forums are a few pennies in a can rattling around. That's like a very few people. Like the average Nintendo person. I mean, I'm not saying it's their favorite, but it's not.
And they love to hate on 3D World by saying it's just a reskin of 3D Land, but with
Yeah,
like
they were saying all that. That was during like E3 that they were
Yeah.
saying that. But
no, but
And then people played it.
it's
Yeah.
gotten worse. At least from what I heard, Mario Galaxy One is like the most. Like it's like the Ocarina of Time of 3D platformer, Mario platformers.
I would say that
that's
Galaxy.
Mario 64.
Yeah, I would say that Mario 64 is and rightly so because Mario 64 set like basically.
I met more Galaxy fans, including myself, because I'm a huge Galaxy cocksucker. So
Well, I mean, like here's the thing. Contrarian. I like Galaxy as well, but anyone who played Galaxy knows that yeah, Galaxy has a better story, but Galaxy 2 has tighter gameplay than Galaxy 1.
Galaxy 2, I just like both of them equally, but Galaxy 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, so I like both of them equally, but I gotta say, Galaxy 2 is
My least favorite
title.
3D, my least favorite 3D Mario game is 64 itself.
Um,
It
I'll keep it real.
hasn't aged. You gotta be.
Um,
It hasn't aged well.
Playing 64 is very nostalgic. And you can't really enjoy it if you aren't playing it on an N64. Like that control, playing it on other controllers is darn near impossible. So I will say that much. Playing it emulated or off the virtual console is really hard. But if you're playing it on the original hardware, it's perfectly fine.
Sunshine, I like it. I like it, but
Hold up a moment. Who is playing Breath of the Wild right now? Yeah, I would have been playing it too, but like I said, my internet went out, so I'm at my local Wegmans doing this podcast.
Actually,
So,
I giving Breath of the Wild a break. Now I'm playing Tales of Systeria.
oh God, you poor baby. Sorry, I thought you said Berseria. Yeah, Berseria is good.
Tales of Systeria. Berseria, I haven't bought it. I got Tales of Systeria because it was $14 on the PS4 sale.
Oh, is Tales of Hysteria pretty bad? Hysteria?
Berseria has an interesting story, but it's like here's the thing. It's the last game that was made by Hideo Baba, so it's not very good. Hideo Baba's the guy who's been making Tales games since the beginning. Dang. That sounds a little disgusting.
Sorry. I think I like the Tales series as a whole. I haven't played Celia and Celia 2,
You're not missing anything.
but I played all the Tales games like from Symphonia onwards, to be honest, because Symphonia was my first Tale games.
I've been playing Tales games since the beginning. Like I went and I got the Famicom version of Fantasia, which is the first Tales game, and then I patched it. Like I ripped it and I patched it, and I played it. I played it on my EverDrive, on my SNES, and then I played all of them in sequence, like over time, like on the PS1, PS2, Symphonia, all of them.
I think Tails and 3D Mario are the only ones that my favorite games align with the fanbase opinion, because my favorite game is Symphonia from the Tails series.
Yeah, Symphonia is. I mean, I like Symphonia because it's almost like a sequel to Fantasia, which I like. The best version of Symphonia, though, is on the GameCube. Which
I had the original GameCube CDs actually.
So do I. I've bought that game 3 times. I have like I have the original. I have like a normal, and then I have 2 backups because I love that game so much.
I want to play Tales of Celia, to be honest, because I think I'm missing out. Like,
man, I'm telling you, you're not missing. You are not missing anything by not playing Celia.
Because I kind of drop off from RPGs in a while. The PS3, I never got Celia. I was never planning to get Hysteria, but I saw it at $14, and I loved the game when I started playing it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And Berseria, I want to try it, but for some reason I don't want to waste $60 in the game.
No, just wait till it goes on sale. It'll go on sale eventually.
But my friends tell me he has the best tail protagonist ever. I want to see how good she is.
No, it doesn't.
It's called Velvet something.
Here's my rule of thumb. The best Tails protagonist I've seen thus far is Lloyd Irving.
I agree with you.
Him is Cress. Is Cress from Fantasia.
No, I think Yuri Lowell is like the second best tail protagonist.
I was gonna say because technically speaking, Cress is the first one in the series, and you wouldn't have the other ones if you didn't have that first one in the series. So I put him second because Lord Irving has 2 swords, and like he said in Symphonia, look, if one sword is 100%, and I've got 2 swords, and I have 200% more swords.
I just like Lloyd's design. He has a really solid design.
And but third is actually Yuri Lowell for me. I think Yuri Lowell is a really great character.
The main characters I hated the most was Luke from Tales of the Abyss.
Oh God, I hate. Oh
God,
God,
he's one of the most unlikable
so
main characters
annoying.
in RPG. Next to Leon from next to Squall from Final Fantasy VIII,
Look,
I
if I
can't
could,
stand Luke.
if I could take him, if I could take Luke von Faber, or should I say, spoiler alert, Luke's clone, the real Luke's clone, Luke von Faber's clone, and the main characters from Kingdom Hearts, and and Cloud Strife and Squall Leonhardt, and put them in a rocket and launch them into the sun, I'd do it.
I don't find Cloud hard. I kind of like Cloud, but I like him more for
Um,
his design.
I
And
can't. His personality is non-existent.
Yeah,
but
Final
oh my,
Fantasy VII has to be one of the worst games ever.
Those characters are not very.
I tried playing it. I tried. I
actually,
tried twice.
I tried liking Final Fantasy because everyone in my college said it's the best, like the best RPG ever. And I even had some idiot that insulted Final Fantasy 9 and said it was for kids and 7 is way better. And when I played, it's just an edgy teen's wet dream in an RPG.
Well,
It's,
I
it's,
wouldn't go that far. I would say that Final Fantasy VII suffers from, um, like, basically it does nothing new with the
Haven't you
franchise.
noticed that Final Fantasy 7 it has everything an edgy teen could like?
Well, I mean,
A badass
well,
emo protagonist with a
contrary,
giant sword.
contrarian, you have to remember you're younger than me. So what was edgy for you was not necessarily edgy for me. What I'm saying is that for me personally, what it basically did for me is that it didn't do anything new for the franchise except it was in 3D and not even a good 3D. So that was it. It was like, okay, like you're trying to create a compelling villain, and Sephiroth is not a compelling villain. He looks
Oh,
cool. That's about it.
Sephiroth was just a crybaby.
He's no Kefka. I'll tell you that much.
I was gonna say,
Actually,
And Cloud Strife is no Terra.
I like Kuya better than Kefka. Kuya is like one of the
Um,
most well-developed Final Fantasy villains.
no, he isn't.
You go,
Kefka.
you
Kefka
go,
is the
you
best
go,
Final Fantasy villain ever.
you go to like. You think he's an homicidal mania, but then you learn that he's just a guy with a really hard inferiority complex, and
Not
because he
really.
was just
He's trying to do his job. He's just doing it in the worst way humanly possible. Because he was
no,
made by the
no, because
master in order to do his job, and he's doing it in
no,
the worst
because
way humanly possible.
most of Kuya's problems stems by the existence that Zidane just replaced. It was just meant to replace. He was just like a standby until they could make a
Yeah,
better. I
he
forgot
thinks
how they called,
he
and
thinks
that
in his head he thinks he's inferior, but in actuality, it was his job. Like his job was to prepare the way for Zidane. But here's the
You know,
thing: he wasn't going to be cast aside, and by the end of it, he figures out, you know what? You know, I've been effing up all this time. I'm sorry.
and, and you know he actually accomplished his plan. He managed to gain the
So did
power
Kefka.
to overthrow his master just to learn that his master was such a douchebag that he reduced his lifespan and he's nearly dying. So he accomplished everything he wanted just to learn he's going to die soon.
So did
you know,
Kefka.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be
Except
honest.
I got
with
it.
Kefka did more than that guy anytime.
you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Kefka ruled the world.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he
be
did.
honest. I'm
And,
gonna be honest.
and Kuya almost destroyed the world, so they
Yeah,
better.
but Kefka did destroy the world. What were you gonna say, Kadoshi?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I just realized something.
Go ahead.
I don't realize. I don't really like Final Fantasy outside of the 2D SNES and NES versions.
Yeah, that's
The old
basically
ones
for
are the
me.
ones that attract me more than the new ones.
Yeah, for me, I feel the same way. Like for me, Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 are my favorites. Chrono Trigger is awesome. Live Alive is awesome. Three. I mean, there are 3D Final Fantasies I like. I like 9. I like 10 to an extent. Like if they could make a mod of 10 where they take out Titus, that would be a great game. Just take him out completely. Just no Titus whatsoever. It would be a great game.
Titus is supposed to be in there, but he isn't supposed to be the star.
No, the main character is Yuna.
And then,
I
you know why I like them? Because the story doesn't really revolve around Titus. It's just
No,
more about Yuna and Oren. Are the
believe
story
it,
mostly?
believe it or not, the main character was supposed to be Yuna, but people thought that a female protagonist couldn't carry a game, even though Square Enix made Final Fantasy VI, which the main character of that game is Tina or Terra, depending on which translation you get, and she's a female character. I don't like. It's like they've done strong female protagonists before in a Final Fantasy game.
Actually,
But
the 3D Final Fantasies I like is 9, 9, 10, 12.
yeah. I mean, I
Uh,
thought 12.
13 to against 10. I can't say I hate 13. I
Yeah,
like the game for what it
I,
was.
I can't play Final Fantasy 13 Final Corridor 1, 2, and 3. I can't play those games, but um,
good one.
but
In
like
Final Fantasy 15.
I tried like for me like the only 3D Final Fantasies I like are I like 9, I like 10 to an extent. I like 12, except like there's just minor things they could have changed that could have made those games from being okay
But
to being
not
great.
all. I am the opposite for you. That not all any. I don't like all the original Final Fantasy because 2 was a really terrible game.
Oh,
Not really.
bad
You
in a
just weren't.
sense.
You just weren't
I mean,
used to it
the
because
battle
you're a younger gamer. You just like for you the 3D is
The
what
battle
was
system
the
was
thing.
garbage. The way they distribute the EXP on that game, and the
Yeah,
story was just
which
this.
Final Fantasy?
that's the thing.
Which Final Fantasy
bad
2 are you talking about? Are you talking
Eh,
about Final Fantasy 2 on the SNES or Final Fantasy 2 on the NES?
I played on the PSP, the remake.
Okay. What was this? Was this Final Fantasy 2 where it was like you gained experience by using your weapons? Like the more you use a sword, the better you got with sword skills. The more you use
Yeah,
a shield, the higher.
yeah.
Okay, that game technically isn't a Final Fantasy game. So
That game was terrible.
well,
I don't like Final Fantasy 3.
they they
The one from the Onion Knight.
yeah, they spun that game off into its own. They spun that type of battle system into its own thing, and that became the Saga series. So,
I don't like the game in the Onion Knight because the story was just crap. The whole Cloud of Darkness and that evil
well,
genie.
you do know. Well, you probably didn't get far enough because as you get farther into the game, you get different classes, and the Onion Knight is actually, if you stick with it to master it, it actually becomes one of the most powerful classes in the game.
No.
But it takes a
I'm
long
not
time.
saying. I'm not saying about that. I didn't like 3 overall. Like,
Fair enough.
the story was really bland. Like, I was like, oh god, I can't get into this
Well,
game.
I mean, I hate to break this to you, but that is a standard trope for Final Fantasy. There's some crystals. The world is in trouble. The crystals are shattering. You get jobs. I mean, that's kind of like what they had for years. I mean,
5 is awesome. Oh, and I
well,
hate
yeah,
the bars. The bars one, I didn't like it because most of the characters look like shit.
fair enough. That's your opinion. But yeah, final. I mean, I don't know how we went from talking about Nintendo sales numbers and business to Final Fantasy, but
Actually, Mr. Refa, you and I are really opposite in Final Fantasy. They like,
well, you're a younger gamer. I mean, like, okay, you got into it before. You got into it at a different time. Like, I jumped onto Final Fantasy on the NES, and like RPGs very early. So I like 2D RPGs. I like how they use. I like figuring out how to break the game using the rules of the system. What were
my
you going to
fa-
say, Kenoshi?
my first Final
Kenoshi was going to
Fantasy.
say something contrary. Kenoshi, what were you
Oh,
going to
sorry.
say?
I don't remember what I was gonna say now, so that forgot what I was gonna say.
Forgot. What were you going to say, contrary?
Well, my first Final Fantasy was 9.
There
So
you
it
go.
could be
That was the first one you played. The first Final Fantasy I played was 4, aka 2 in America, and like I actually love that game. That game is pretty awesome, except for the fact that the main character has a really stupid name. I'm Cecil. Really?
I like 4.
Seriously?
Actually,
That's
I like 4. It has one of the most solid stories of Final Fantasy.
I mean, can you believe that BS? It's like, man, we're being murdered. Just you wait. We shall be avenged by the paladin named Cecil. Such a
I got a different experience with you both. If anything, my first Final Fantasy was 7, but I had
Jewel, we can barely hear you. You have to speak into the mic.
okay. I was gonna say that my experience from you guys is both mixed in the sense that my first Final Fantasy was 7, but my real RPG was Chrono Trigger, and thus I actually have a bit of a mix of all styles. I played
Yeah.
I played 6, which is
Hmm.
Final Fantasy 3 in the states. I played 7. I played 8 to a degree, 9 to a degree, 10 to a point because I only rented it in a sense, and then took a look at 12 before saying I drop.
Hold up. Who's fighting a Hinox or a Lionel?
Oh, I was fighting one of those Cyclops.
You were fighting a Hinox. Yeah, I knew it because I hear Boston. I'm like, you're fighting a Hinox, aren't you?
Actually, I can kill Linos now, and
Well, yeah.
with the
I mean,
weaponry I have.
yeah. If you know how to use the right weapons, they're. I mean, like basically, the cool thing about Breath of the Wild is that as you get better, as you get more experience, as you get better weapons, like the enemies that you feel like, oh god, let me run away. You're like, yeah, get out of my face.
Actually,
Kill you.
I farmed guardian parts until I had like 10 ancient swords.
All right. One of my
My inventory.
favorite things is to get Lionel bows and use elemental arrows because Lionel bows shoot 3 arrows with one shot. So it's like one arrow equals 3 shots. So it's like you use 3 bomb arrows on a dude, and it's so satisfying. It's like, oh yeah, it's cheap. I love it.
You guys are having so much fun.
Well, I mean, you gotta have fun. I mean, that's why people play games. I mean, I know that's a dirty word, fun, but yeah.
I was going to say,
Actually,
at least 30 if you're in the business of trying to smear any game system for your own greed.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to say there's another dirty word I've been like noticing opinions.
Well, yeah. Well, no, it's not a dirty word. The problem is that people confuse opinion with fact. They're like, well, that's my opinion. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
factually,
but
you're wrong.
you cannot have like an opinion in this community because I kind of seen like both comment sections and videos and all that stuff. And if somebody doesn't have the opinion that the majority deem as the correct one, oh my god, they will just try to crucify you.
No, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and like, here's the thing: a lot of things in this community are subjective. But at the end
I
of the
think
day,
everything. I think everything in gaming is subjected to a point.
well, I mean, if you're talking about how you feel about something, that's your opinion.
Here's
But
the thing for me, in a sense, if you can't if you have to put up a warning sign saying that this is your opinion and that your opinion may vary from others in front of every single thing and people still rant about it, that means there's really been a problem growing.
yeah, like, I mean, I'll give you an example. Like, okay, I'm
Well,
gonna make two
you,
statements.
do you know what's more sadder than that? When there are terms like unpopular opinions or not politically correct opinions, things are
Well,
wrong.
well,
Where
I'll give you an example of what I mean. Like, okay, I'm going to give you a opinion and then a fact, right? And one is going to also be my opinion, but it's going to be a fact. Okay. Okay. So here's my opinion. I think that Mario 3 is not as good as Super Mario World for the SNES. That's an opinion. That's how I feel. There is no, there is no right or wrong with that. Now, I could strengthen my opinion by giving you facts. I could say, well, Miyamoto himself has said that Super Mario World is his favorite Mario that he worked on. Like, like Tezuka Takashi says that was one of his favorite games to work on as well. So, I mean, those are facts to bolster my opinion. But at the end of the day, even
it's
despite
still
all of that,
it's
it's an
still an
opinion.
opinion because,
Exactly.
like me, I like New Super Mario Bros. U better than Mario World, and that's my opinion.
That is an opinion. That is how you feel about it. But then for someone to say, well, um, the lowest selling Mario game. The lowest selling Mario games are the ones that star the Koopa kids and not Bowser Jr. Well, factually, that's incorrect because actually,
now you're taking jabs at me.
no, I'm using it as an example, but factually, that is incorrect. That is your opinion, but factually, it is incorrect. But like, here's the thing: you can say I like the games that have Bowser Jr. in them. Well, cool. I like the games that have Bowser Jr. in them too. I like the boss fight in Mario and Mario Brothers Wii U, where you have to like hijack Bowser Jr.'s ride and smash it into his dad's head. That's
Oh,
actually pretty fun.
that's the Super Mario Bros. U final battle.
Yeah, that is fun. That's fun because you finally get to do what I always want to do to Bowser Jr. Get out of here, little. Give me this ride, and Mario gets to play Grand Theft Auto.
I think that's the only creative final boss fight in the new Super Mario Brothers series because the other games is mostly get to the Switch, press it, Bowser is dead.
Well, I mean, not really, because the final boss in Mario Brothers Wii and New Super Mario Brothers and New Super Mario Bros. U, it starts out like that because it's based off of the original Mario Brothers, but with a twist. So like, it
No,
looks
but
like
in New Super Mario Brothers, the first one, the Wii, no, I mean the Wii one, you have to run from Giant Bowser and press the Switch. In the New Super Mario Brothers 2, the crappy 3DS one, you have to do the same, but Bowser, but by climbing up platforms. In the
yeah,
original DS one, in the original DS one, it's mostly a repeat of the
but
original DS one.
there are twists to the gameplay, and here's the thing: like in the 2D Mario games, it never was like, especially the old school ones, like Mario Brothers and the original, which is what New Super Mario Brothers is supposed to be ripping off the original one. The boss battles weren't really the highlight. It was the level design of getting to the boss. So the level design, and I will say this right now: the level design of 2D Mario games is still some of the tightest level design I've seen. Like
That I can agree on.
2D
So
or 3D. Like the 3D Mario games, I enjoy the level design, but when it comes to platforming, that 2D level design of a 2D Mario game, you just can't beat it. You cannot beat those levels.
I was going to say, if you want good boss battles with these Koopa kids and other kinds of creatures, you might want to go into the RPG series for that.
Yeah,
Mario
Super
and
Mario
Luigi.
RPG does a good job. Yeah, Mario and Luigi, yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's like what has Mario being about boss fights? To be honest.
Well, like I said, the whole thing, Mario games are about level design. It's like The Legend of Zelda is about
The,
solving
the, the,
puzzles.
the only reason I hate the 3DS one is because it feels like a rehash from Mario 3.
That's what it's supposed
Oh,
to be,
wait
though. I
till you hear
mean,
about the extra part when you're in Super Mario, New Super Mario Bros. 2, because
yeah, it's
the EX boss fight is, well, dry Bowser in the same way that you fought Bowser in the first one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like the new Super Mario Brothers series is supposed to be a.
And then, you
Um,
know the only reason why New Super Mario Brothers EU is my favorite because he actually felt like New Super Mario Bros. Was his own thing in that game. Like they they,
um,
they spiced up, like they changed like the level design to like kind of look unique. And I think the final battle was really fun.
I like.
And
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I like New Super Mario Brothers U because it basically is like I like the entire series because of the tight platforming in the levels. Because like that platforming is so like, especially on the Star Road and Champions Road and stuff like that. You have to be so precise in your timing and how good you are in order to get those bonus levels that it's like, damn.
That's accuracy.
Yep, yep. And you just don't get. I mean, in 3D Mario games, you don't get that level of even they tried really hard with 3D World. They tried really hard to give you that type of precision, but they couldn't do it because it was in 3D space. You just don't get it with a 3D game. Not like that.
yeah, but I like 3D Mario for other reasons, to be honest.
Yeah, I like how they
It,
do how they can be inventive with the environment. games. You know, like you play Mario. Like you play Mario
And
Galaxy, and
that's
how
one of
you,
the reasons. That's one of the reasons I kind of like Sunshine is because Sunshine was really, really unique when it came to being a Mario 3D platformer.
yeah, there was nothing
He had,
like
he
it.
had, he has like a lot of mechanics only exclusive to that game.
Yeah,
The,
yeah, that
the
you know.
it, and to be honest, that's why I can't say that I just the problem my problem with Sunshine is that Sunshine really kicks you in the balls with some missions like are really really hard while some are really really
Bloodless
easy.
ones.
Um, I don't really have that problem with the game. For me, the game just kind of like I don't like Flood. I know some people love Flood. I
I was
thought like if Sunshine hadn't had Flood, I would have been okay
some
with it.
people got raised on.
You need to speak into the mic, Joel. We cannot hear you.
I was saying some people got really upset with the floodless parts of the game.
Now, see, that's the thing. I like the floodless parts of the game because I didn't like using Flood.
Actually, Mr. Wrestler, you and I are opposite in that. The flawless part of the game were a nightmare.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You got used to using Flood. And here's the thing Mario games, you're not supposed to have that type of almost a cheat with your jumps. Like the most of a cheat that you had with a jump with a Mario game back in the day was the Tanuki tail or the cape feather from Super Mario World, like where you could kind of slow your descent. But with Flood, if you had a flood, if you had the jet thing on the Flood, like the hover thing, you just friggin' I'm about to fall. Oh no, I'm not. I mean that it's cheap. It cheapens the Mario
I was
platform.
about to say the cave cover is more of a cheat than the flood.
The cape feather, no, because the cape feather didn't actually give you more
No,
height
actually,
unless you were doing a running jump.
Yule is right. If you know how to glide, you can skip an
Yeah,
entire level with
but
the
that
cape
took
feather.
but that took skill to do that. That still took skill. With Flood, it was just like, oh, I'm just gonna use the hover nozzle. Oh, I'm flying over here. It was like, come on, man.
And Sunshine was more puzzle oriented than platforming, and to be honest.
Yeah, it was. It was. But like
So
I said, I
that
was.
did that didn't matter.
Yeah, I wasn't huge into I wasn't huge into Sunshine. Like I played it, I beat it, but I wasn't like, oh my god, I have to have this game. I was like, it's okay. I'm not really.
I like Sunshine, but the Galaxy and 3D World just beat it for me in terms of of I like it.
Yeah, I wasn't really into it. It wasn't my favorite thing.
And you know that actually 3D World may have different characters to play, but I always tend to use Mario because it's the one I like the most out of the four.
For me, when I played that game, I actually did this thing. I literally went and beat every level with every single character, and I got good with all of them. Like I'm good with Rosalina. I'm good
Actually,
with
Rosalina was my main, but you can only get her when you clear the game.
yeah.
But
I'm good with Rosalina. I'm good with Mario. I'm good with Luigi. I'm good with Princess Peach. I'm good with Toad. Like all of them, I'm good with. So because in order to get all the stamps, you have to beat every level with every single character. So I did that. So I had to get good with all of them.
I hope the game that people are petitioning doesn't come true. They're petitioning for a Waluigi game from Mario.
A Waluigi game?
Oh,
Well, that ain't happening.
Jesus Christ! Christ, spare me from that. I really despise Waluigi.
I hate Waluigi. I'm sorry. Look,
Waluigi's Waluigi has become like popular out of nowhere. Like
I
you
was going to
see,
say this. He's
look. If they're gonna make a no, go ahead.
one of the
Sorry. Go
Wario.
ahead.
He's one of the Wario Bros. He gets enough attention already like that. If you try to give Waluigi his own game, that's like trying to say, here's Luigi's game. And
Look,
Luigi's already got 3 games in a sense.
look,
Mario Missing and 2 um, Luigi's
Luigi's
Mansions.
Mansions. Yeah. Look, if they're gonna give someone a game, if they're gonna give someone a game, Wario deserves another game before Waluigi. Okay. And I
yeah.
don't mean
Actually,
and I don't mean a
I
Wario. I don't mean a
I
Wario. I don't mean a WarioWare game. I mean literally a platforming Wario game.
Wario
Yeah,
Land.
I was talking
Yeah,
with my
Wario Land.
friend about I wanting a Wario Land for the Switch, but the problem is the Wario Lands don't sell as well as WarioWare.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Ah,
I love
I'm the number
Wario.
one. Ah. But
After I think after Bowser Jr., Bowser and Yoshi, Wario is like my four favorite Mario characters. So I
I
really
have
love
some
Wario.
I have some breaking news. This could be good news or bad news depending on who you are. If you check the screen that I'm sharing, GameStop. This came out today, the 25th. GameStop took a beating in holiday sales and will close 150 stores in 2017. Earnings report blames big boxes and underwhelming AAA titles.
To be honest, I don't care about GameStop. Like
Let me read this
GameStop's
article. Let me read this article.
go ahead.
GameStop is going to close about 150 of its stores this year in the wake of slumping holiday sales, according to the company's earnings report on Thursday. The move targets non-productive stores and a strategy announced more than 3 years ago. GameStop told Fortune in a statement. GameStop earnings report says it will close between 2 and 3% of its stores worldwide. It has more than 7,500 locations in 14 countries already. However, GameStop said it would open another 35 stores in its collectibles line of business and 65 new technology-branded stores, which include Spring Mobile, AT&T, and Cricket Wireless stores. But in traditional video game hardware and software, where GameStop has long been king, the company took a beating to close out 2016. The company's earnings release showed new software sales down 19.3% for the fourth quarter, which ended January 28th, and new hardware sales down 29.1%. Taken with the launch of two new PlayStation 4 configurations and PlayStation VR from September to November, the hardware decline is remarkable. For its part, GameStop said it was hurt by quote-unquote aggressive console promotions by other retailers on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. End quote. The company said Amazon, as well as big box retailers like Walmart, Best Buy, Toys R Us, and Target have posed an increasing threat to GameStop sales position. GameStop also blamed weak sales of certain AAA titles, unquote, for the drop
What?
in software
What was that
sales.
again? Weak sales for.
Weak sales in certain AAA titles for the drop in software sales. While none were named, in Activision's call with investors in early February, the publisher acknowledged that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare had, quote, underperformed, end quote. In December, CNBC reported, citing subscriber-only data from NPD, that sales of physical copies of Infinite Warfare in November were down 50% from the November 2015 launch of Black Ops 3. The outcome for GameStop stock price in Friday trading were rather stock. Shares fell more than 13% or $20 in whole numbers. CNBC noted that GameStop's share price is off more than 30% over the last year, or 12 months. So whatever.
sorry, my computer turned off.
No, we were just going over how GameStop been effing up. Basically,
GameSpot
GameStop is in
GameSpot has
trouble.
been assholes. GameSpot has done a lot of shady business practices over the years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
I'm sorry, I was laughing so much on that hurt me some in a funny way.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, to heck with GameStop. I mean, for all those people who went to GameStop to trade in some things in order to get something else. I was never one of them, but I've been to GameStop when they had like a GameStop exclusive to purchase something, and I saw people bring in stuff that was worth like $500, $600 street value. GameStop's like, oh, that's only worth like $120. And then they remarket it and then they rebrand it and they put it in a GameStop used bag and they mark the price up and they sell it for $800, $900. Like if you divide it up into individual packages for what they're selling it for, so they can make a profit. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for you, GameStop. I really don't.
Yeah, because if anything, those guys always try to rip you off. And recently, as far as I know, they've been giving me get these credit card offers. Yeah, right. And that's how I'm gonna be putting my faith in credit cards for GameStop.
Yeah, yeah. But
Well,
speaking of,
I wanted to ask you like something about GameStop.
go
What
ahead.
what was that about weak AAA sales?
Yeah, basically, in 2016, you had a lot of weak AAA sales. I mean, look. I mean, here's the thing. We might not have the data in front of us, but haven't you noticed that all of these AAA games are having underwhelming sales? Like the only AAA games that are selling well and actually turning a profit are ones that had modest budgets, like your Breath of the Wilds, your believe it or not, uh, your Mass Effect Andromedas, like games that maybe had like a 40, 20, $100 million budget, like games that had smaller budgets, because anything that had less than a smaller budget is just not doing too well right now.
As in these super hyper popular games that are supposed to sell trillions.
Yeah, it's like
Like Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda is actually a lower budget game. It had a budget of 40 million.
I'll be damned.
So basically, it if it had a budget of 40 million and it sells 1 million, it would have already made its profit back with half of that. Let's see, 40 times 40 million times um, 1 million.
I'm just researching something I want to discuss with GameStop with you. I forgot. Let me see here.
Let's see,
Oh,
40.
now I remember. Haven't you noticed that GameStop kind of wants to like? Haven't you noticed GameStop employees kind of like coerce you into buying stuff you don't want?
Um,
But
this is where I have to
they've
say
been doing
this
that
has
all the
been
time.
happening all the time so far, especially
Yeah.
with people like me, Nintendo fan number one.
Yeah, I remember one time I went to GameStop and I was like I went to go pre-order a no, it wasn't because I am first and foremost a Nintendo fan, but I also game on other things, and I went to get Yakuza for the PS3, and like they were like, oh, we don't have it in yet, we'll have it in tomorrow. I was like, but it said on the thing you guys had it. Well, something happened with the system, blah blah. So I'm like,
I
okay,
call bullshit with that.
well, stuff happens, so it wasn't like I needed to have it that day. So they were like, well, you want to get this game? I'm like, is that anything like a beat 'em up? Well, no, but it comes from Japan. I'm like, are you retarded?
This is where I say the GameStop do pretty big stupid at this point.
Yeah.
I
didn't
mean,
tell you guys how I went to go buy a Link amiibo, and they basically tried to
they try to second hand you or try to make you buy a game of a different set of sorts.
no, it was a Link amiibo, but it already been opened, and I pre-ordered it, and it had already been opened, and I was like, this has been already been opened, it's not new, and they were like, oh well, I'm like, you're selling me an amiibo that has already been opened, and you want me to pretend like I didn't notice that it's already been opened.
Actually, I remember me buying like a multi-platform when I had the Xbox 360,
Mhm.
and they were like trying to convince me like if I had a PS3 to buy the PS3 version.
Yeah, but that's their job. Their job is to their job is to first they're going to sell you the GameStop version because that's profit for them. That's more profit for them. Like they make like 10% off of new games, like 10% of revenue off of new games. But they make like 60-70% profit off of selling you used games. So they make more money selling you used stuff than new stuff. And then you factor in that like that's the first thing they're gonna do. Then they make money off of the memberships. Well, you want to get a GameStop membership? No. Sorry, what do they call it now? Next level rewards.
Yeah,
Like that.
That's the rewards program that allows you to get points for buying their stuff, but in reality, it's just to try to get you coin, and it includes the most the most infamous piece, the most infamous piece of toilet paper I've ever seen in the history of the world.
Yeah, their GameStop branded magazine that no one cares about.
Oh
It,
my God,
oh God,
Game Informer is trash.
yes, it is. It's a rag. Like,
I was about to say, I call it toilet paper.
yeah, it would. Yeah, it would have more use being used as that than what it's used as. You know, an actual.
I heard more ignorant shit in those magazines that on the whole YouTube gaming community, and we all know how. And,
Are you
and,
serious?
and we know how brain dead the YouTube gaming community is.
I was about to say, seriously, Contrarian?
How when you read half of the reviews, they will nitpick the most stupidest of crap to lower a game down.
I was going to say they're equal.
I don't know.
Well, actually, you have a point because the YouTube gaming community is just like pure cancer
And it's
for the
it's
brain.
bigger. It's bigger than GameStop because I mean, like they said, there's 7,500 GameStop stores. Like there's millions of YouTube channels. I mean, there's millions of them. I would guarantee there's probably a million people who just do video games. So yeah, they've
Oh,
already got GameStop up.
and Game Informer loved the whole Nintendo is Doom articles. They really love like to push in the Wii U was killing Nintendo each and every article. It was like,
Well,
oh my God,
here's the
give it
funny
a
thing.
break.
Here's the funny thing. Okay, GameStop is firing people and shuttering stores. Microsoft is firing studios and firing people. Sony has fired people and shuttered studios.
And what is
The only
Nintendo doing?
the only company in the eighth gen that actually has been expanding and hiring people is the company that had quote unquote the system that was failing, and yet they made money off of it. So it wasn't that
Yeah,
big.
I heard that Nintendo lost $500 million with the Wii U or something like that.
Um, maybe like the first
That
year
was
that it
only
launched.
for 1 year.
Yeah, maybe the first year that it launched, they posted a loss. But you're launching a new console. I mean that I mean
Actually, we can all agree that the Wii U is Nintendo's most hated console, like
not
public
really.
I
wise.
was going to say,
No,
it's
that
between the GameCube and the Wii U.
no. The most hated Nintendo console I own it is the Virtual Boy.
No,
No.
but Virtual Boy aside, I mean the the Wii U got kicked and punched throughout his entire life.
not not like here's the thing. And I have to disagree with you with saying that the Wii U is the most hated console. The most hated Nintendo console is the Wii because hardcore people felt that the Wii betrayed them because it didn't have they couldn't be hardcore. They couldn't look hardcore. They couldn't be hardcore while playing a Wii.
Actually,
They
I
couldn't even.
see some people warm up to the Wii and still hate the Wii U.
Well, after the fact, now they're like, oh, the Wii wasn't that bad. But
That's the,
like when the Wii came
that's the
out,
thing.
these people walking around who were like, yeah, I'm a hardcore gamer. They could not even tell their friends they owned a Wii. And if they did, they had to laugh it up. It's like, oh,
Oh no,
I
but
have this.
haven't you noticed most of the divisive and hated installments of the franchise are from the Wii era?
Oh yeah, I mean they.
Brawl, Skyward Sword, you
Uh,
named it.
I mean, let me put it
Um,
this way: Skyward Sword had issues, but it wasn't. It wasn't like like. How can I put
for
this?
me, I'd say Brawl was one of the most infamous in the Wii. I mean, in the history of Nintendo fighter games,
And the
and
irony is that
Sword
it's the
is
stronger game. Like Brawl is the strong. Brawl is the strongest installment of Smash Brothers we've had because Brawl, like, okay, aside from the online gameplay aspect, um, Brawl had the best single player. It had the multiplayer. It had a better multiplayer. You had a lot of control over what was going on. It had the best internal systems where you could control what was going on in the levels, like what music played,
Yeah,
certain little features like
but,
that.
but Mr. Red Fox, you forget that the YouTube gaming community said because it is slow, it sucks.
Can I tell you how I feel about the YouTube gaming community?
I was gonna
I'm
say,
in
do
a
you
I'm
need
in a
some
yeah, I'm in a
good
public place,
media?
but let me put it this way. It involves sharp, pointy objects going into orifices. Put it that way.
I was
Um,
gonna say that the Smash community that supports Melee, they could have an issue of Toilet Paper Magazine.
yeah, like look, listen. I understand. I played
Actually,
the heck.
I feel that way with but with Ocarina of Time fanboy, so I
Look.
do agree.
I'm gonna keep it real. Okay, look. Okay, I'm one of those people. I put over 1,000 hours into Melee, and yes, I know what some people will say. How do you know you put over 1,000 hours? Because the internal clock for that game only went 999. I went over that. Okay, I put a lot of time into Melee. Huge amounts of time into Melee. Online, not online, but local multiplayer and single player. But Brawl, for all intents and purposes, aside from the bad internet connection, was actually the better game. Um,
But it had tripping.
yeah, whatever. That's how I feel
Sorry,
about it.
I had to jab at that because if anything, I never had that happen to me.
Well, I mean, tripping happened, but it's like Sakura said. If you're fighting, you're not always going to be like and running around. You're not always going to be like the best. Um, but anyway, yeah. Here's the thing. Ocarina of Time. I like the game, but it's not. Ocarina of Time is not the best game. And we have one more topic that I want to bring up because, and this is actually directly related to the business cast. I'm just going to leave it in the discussion if you guys want to look at it. It's about Tom Kalinske doing a retrospective of how he feels about Sega, uh, how they kind of fell apart.
Oh, this I gotta read.
Yeah, it's from Polygon, but people need to understand.
I'm gonna take this assault then.
Yeah, not everything Polygon does is horrible. Please don't expect them to be horrible all the time. Okay.
I was saying that I usually see trash from Polygon when it comes to
Well,
certain topics.
normally, but they did a really good article on JonTron, so I can't really, not every.
Well,
I
well,
would say,
even Fox just gets something right once in a while. So
well, I was gonna say that even a broken clock is right 2 times a day, and I would say Polygon is like 4 out of every 10 stories are good. The other 6 are garbage, but I mean, 4 out of 10 is not bad. I mean, it's not passing, but it's not horrible. Um,
Looking at a second now, I hear this is so funny right now. I think we probably would have been successful at a modest level without Sonic. I mean, it would have been better than it was, before I joined the company. But I don't think we could have possibly passed Nintendo in share of market. He says.
no, they wouldn't have. I mean,
can,
but like I said, the Sega
can
Genesis.
I say something? I actually am a fan of Sonic.
Well, I mean, like I don't think anyone here hates Sonic the Hedgehog. We just have
I was about
certain
to
types of
say,
Sonic games we like, and they haven't been making them for
3D
years. So
is a mess.
yeah, the 3D games have been hit or miss. Like they've been very hit or miss.
From the 3D games, I like Adventure 1 and 2, Heroes, Colors, Unleash,
Adventure
and
2 and Color.
Generation.
Adventure
Yeah,
2 and Sonic Heroes for
I
me.
like it. I like Adventure Heroes. I mean, I like Heroes. I like Adventure 2 to an extent. I like Unleashed. I like Colors. I like.
I
Actually,
think I
I
think
wasn't.
Colors is my favorite Sonic game. I don't know why. I just like the theme. I always love amusement park levels and
Yeah, I didn't dislike the Sonic the really simplistic like solid Sonic and the Secret Rings and the Black Knight. I didn't dislike those games either. I mean, they were really simple,
the
but I mean,
the, the really garbage ones are '06 and Sonic Boom for me.
Yeah, see, a Sonic Boom, like literally,
Um,
Big Red Button needs to apologize for that game. They need to do apology.
so true. And
You know what? We're sorry.
for the record, for me, so, so, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, as in both of them together, are my Sonic game.
Actually,
You know,
mine too. Mine too. Actually, the 2D ones, at least for the 2D ones, Sonic 3 and Knuckles are just godly for me.
I gotta disagree on that one. My favorite Sonic game is the first one and the second one. I like Sonic 1 and 2. Sonic 3, the one where you have Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3, so that it's like you get the whole entire game. I like it's okay to me, but my favorite three 2D Sonic games, like old school on a console, were Sonic CD, Sonic 1, and Sonic 1 and 2. Now, of course, we all love the advanced Sonics and
I'm
Sonic
going to
Rush.
say something that's going to get
I
me
haven't played the Advance.
I'm going to say something that's gonna get me and this video a lot of hate. I don't think Sonic CD was that great.
Okay. I mean, like,
Hey,
I'm not
really?
saying Sonic CD wasn't for everyone, but for me, like, here's the thing. Okay, before Sonic CD, we had Sonic R and Knuckles
Everybody's super
Chaotix.
Sonic Race.
Yeah, which has like Sonic R has one of the best
The
songs.
Sonic R is Sonic R is an enigma. It is one of
Well,
the worst racing games
well,
I ever played, but
it
goddamn, that
has great
soundtrack
music.
was
Yeah, the
amazing.
music. It's like, but like Sega used to be like that. Like they had this guy, the Daytona USA guy. That guy was so happy to sing his songs. I'm like, can you bring that guy back to do another Daytona USA? Daytona.
And in Brawl, the Sonic stage, the Super Sonic Racing is like the only music I have available there. That's how much I like that song. And that's coming from somebody that really despised Sonic R. It was like, oh my god, these clunky controls. You can't even turn in this game. You're like,
Yeah,
oh my god, what the
it's
hell
pretty
designed
bad.
this crap?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Without jumping, you really have bad controls.
It is. It's pretty bad. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty terrible. It's pretty damn bad. But
But let's
yeah.
be
So
honest, Sonic '06 was like that. It was a really garbage game, but oh my god, the soundtrack was amazing. Like his
no,
world
man.
is
No.
his world is like the best Sonic theme,
Even the
like
music,
main theme.
even the music couldn't save Sonic 06. That's how bad it was. Like, it's
No,
like, man,
Sonic '06 is a sin. Like
because no, because every time you get into the music, you just die from some stupid glitch. You're like, man, oh man, never mind. This game is
look,
garbage. I
look,
forgot.
my name is the Contrarian Bastard. I love controversial games like The Other M, Skyward Sword.
Well, Other M isn't controversial. It's just there
Terrible.
was well, no, there were certain design choices that made it kind of not
But
as good as it could have been.
But goddamn, if I gave Sonic '06 a try, and that game is just it's an abomination.
Yeah, well, it's pretty bad. Sega needs to apologize for
No,
that game. They need to apologize for that game
the
and
game
Sonic.
had a good premise, but that game was
No,
unfinished.
look,
It,
Sonic never needs to kiss a female human being.
no, when I mean a
Um,
good premise, is that
Silver
it
Silver
had
never needs to be in a Sonic game ever
it,
again.
no, the bestiality theme was just awful. But when I'm talking, he had the potential to be good. But
No,
let's be honest, that game was not finished at
I'll,
all.
I'll tell you the best because they rushed because they wanted to put a Sonic game on the Wii and the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and they split their team and rushed to get it out. And
I would say
the game that they put on the Wii was actually better than the game they put on
The
the
secret rings.
yeah.
we didn't get 06, which is a blessing and a curse in a sense.
No, it was a blessing. We dodged that bullet. We didn't get that golden poo on a disc.
I was
You
about
know,
to say,
you
that's
know,
a
I never played that game because I didn't have a PS3 at that time. But after hearing how infamous that game was, and I saw it at GameStop at $7, and I said, I
That's seven
really,
dollars too much.
and I said, you know what? I really need to play this game to see if it was really that bad.
Man, that's seven. Look, man, you just took your $7 and flushed it down the toilet on that.
You know, you know that I couldn't get past Silver's story because of a stupid glitch.
Yeah,
Like
that's the
they
thing.
give
Like,
you,
no matter how good
they
no
give
matter
you,
how good the music is, it's like the game is so broken that it's like even the music can't save you from saying this is some
they
BS.
give
You
you
know?
a puzzle that you had to push like a billiard ball into a hole, but the physics of this game is so bad, and the glitches is almost impossible.
Yep. Yep.
Me,
I mean, that's why my favorite 3D Sonic game of the last gen was Unleashed. And I know some people are gonna get mad.
I
Ooh,
was about to
Unleash
say,
Unleash was amazing. I love
I
it.
like Unleashed,
Unleashed is a mixed
especially
bag to me.
I like Unleashed because at the end of the game, when Sonic turns into a werehog and he beats, I mean he straight up almost murders Doctor Robotnik. like he
Oh yeah,
if
that
Robotnik
part
That's the
was
has
highlight.
awesome.
like he straight up almost murders him, and I'm like, for the first time you see Doctor Robotnik like get scared and have fear on his face, and
And
it's
I'm
so
and
awesome.
I'm a huge Eggman fan, and I love that moment.
Yeah, because I mean, like all these years of Doctor Robotnik just messing with this hedgehog, and Sonic just finally had, enough is enough. I'm tired of these mother loving snakes on this mother loving plane,
I was
and
about to
he
say, it's
and
time
he
to scramble
almost, yeah,
some egg.
yeah, he's like, you know what? I'm tired of you. I've had enough. Like, give us a game where Sonic finally just ends it and give us a new villain
I was
because
about to say,
Robotnik is
that's
getting
like
old.
Superman trying to kill Lex Luthor.
Well, he did it. He did it. In Justice Lords, he killed him. He's like, you know what? I've had
I
enough here.
actually, you feel about Robotnik the same way I feel about Ganondorf in Zelda.
Well, with Ganondorf, they've had games where they didn't have Ganondorf as the primary villain, and he's just,
It
like,
was just two games that didn't have
but here's the
Ganondorf.
thing: Ganondorf has other things that he's done. Robotnik literally does the same thing every time. The same thing. It's like, can you do something
I
different?
was
You
gonna say,
fat, egg
between
shaped.
between
You know
Doctor
what?
Robotnik and Doctor Wily, those two have the lowest intelligence I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like you're
And
super genius, but you keep on doing. You're insane because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's this dude. He just keeps on doing the
I
same
would
thing
say
over
it's
and over
Doctor
again.
Robotnik and Wily.
Yeah, they're both insane. They're both totally insane.
actually, I haven't played the classic Mega Man game. So what does Wily do actually?
Um, he basically he uses a virus in order to make the robots who basically like control the various functions of the city that Dr. Wily and Dr. Light live in. It's like a robot city where like your sewage control is controlled by a robot. Your climate control is controlled by a robot. The robot who paves the roads and makes sure certain things run well is a robot. He makes those robots go insane, and Dr. Light has to send his assistant, one of his two robotic assistants, Rock, out as Mega Man to go take care of business. And Mega Man either destroys or saves these robots, and then winds up going to Dr. Wily's hidden castle, which is always called his Doom Fortress, and that he fights Dr. Wily. It's like, dude, you've done this in like 9, 10 games now. Could you do something different, please? Please
At
do
least,
something different.
at least Bowser has different variations where he kidnaps Peach in different ways.
Well, that's the thing. But even Bowser, it's like he kidnaps Peach. I mean, Ganon, I can say he does different things. Like, okay, in the original Legend of Zelda, Ganon kidnaps Zelda, but in Zelda 2, Ganon's been destroyed, and you have to like you're trying to stop him getting resurrected. Zelda 3, Ganon has won. He basically has the Triforce, the entire Triforce, and now you've got to fight a dude who's basically a god. Ocarina of Time, he basically gets the Triforce of Power, and he rules over Hyrule, and then you have to fight him again. He doesn't really kidnap the princess till the very end, but then you save her anyway. I mean, it's like he has different variations on what he does, but I mean, Bowser, Eggman, Wily, it's the same thing every time. the same thing. Do something different, dude. You're a genius. Do something different, please. Oh well, we've reached the end of this podcast. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Well, I did make an article about how I had soda instead of tea for a while.
Okay.
Probably would get the joke if you read the article.
Yeah, I'll link it in the description field when this goes live, so people can read it, peruse it for themselves.
I'm gonna have to say go play Breath of the Wild. It's the only game you're gonna need for a while. That's all I'm gonna say.
And don't forget to stop and take a deep breath as you're playing it, because it occasionally does get a little because this game is deep.
Yeah. Even though they don't give you a lot of the story in this game, I really enjoy. I've actually enjoyed the story moments in this game.
Oh, they do give you a story. You just got to look hard to find it.
Yeah,
you got to go deep to find story in that game.
Yeah, it does the whole Metroid Prime route where you have to actually have to find the.
I was going to say more Xenoblade Chronicles X, where if you want to figure out the story, you actually have to go looking for it in side quests and stuff like that. Anything you want to pimp out, Kanoshi?
No, that's just my shameless plug for Breath of the Wild.
pimp out a game that we're all playing anyway. Contrarian, anything you wanna show?
I'm between Tales of Systeria and playing Pokemon, so I'm kind of busy playing games, and I'm trying to find a job these days.
All right. Okay. So I guess it's just me. I know this is me. This is my turn to advertise some stuff. I know I said I was going to get a lot of stuff out this week, but life happened. My internet went out at my house, so yeah.
You can recover from that.
Well, it's supposed to get put on today. Like, it's supposed to come back on around 9:30. So later on tonight, it should be back on. But let's see what else. So I should have my other videos put up Sunday. Some good stuff. I should have some good stuff put up for you guys. What else? So I should have 3 videos dropping between Sunday and Monday, which they're all going to be about RPGs. So look forward to that. It's going to be five things to be worried about if you hear an RPG maker say this to you. Run. That RPG is going to suffer from issues. And then I'm going to have one talking about just some of my favorite unsung RPGs that people have never heard of. And it's gonna be good. And the last video is gonna be about an RPG that all of us love, that we've all been playing, and I hope everyone's gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be about Breath of the Wild, which isn't really an RPG, but it has a lot of RPG tropes in it that I've been enjoying. So that being said, this is the end of our BS Busters for March 25th. It's been a long time coming. This was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago, but life happened. People got sick. Stuff happened. So peace.